Hello everyone, I'm Shumana with tasteofbeirut.com and I want to tell you how to make Ashtaliyeh today. What's Ashtaliyeh? Ashtaliyeh comes from ashta, which means cream. Ashtaliyeh is a pudding made with milk and a little bit of cream. It's sort of like our Lebanese panna cotta, and it's very popular and everybody loves to make it at home because it takes maybe less than 5 minutes to make. So it's got some flavors that you're familiar with, but some that you may not be familiar with. So first we start out with a little bit of milk, 2 cups of milk. And the way we make this pudding is we add a little bit of cornstarch to thicken the pudding. Unlike other puddings which may use gelatin, we use cornstarch. So a 1/3 cup of cornstarch for 2 cups of milk, and that should be right. Now, when you heat your milk, you're gonna mix your cornstarch with the cold liquid. You don't want to mix it with the hot milk or it'll just become one big lump. And as soon as your milk starts steaming, you're gonna add the cornstarch, and 2 minutes later, your pudding will be basically ready. Now, we're going to add a little bit of sugar with this pudding. The reason is, this is just 1 tablespoon of sugar. With the Ashtaliyeh, we make a little syrup on the side and people just drizzle a little syrup based on how sweet they like it. But the Ashtaliyeh itself is just barely sweet, almost not sweet. So there we're waiting for the milk to heat up. And there's certain things that go in the Ashtaliyeh that are very typical. One of them is called mastic. Mastic or miske is takes the shape of little crystals or pebbles that come from a bush that is extracted from a tree that grows on a Greek island. And the Greeks use it, the Turks use it, the Lebanese use it, all the peoples of the Eastern Mediterranean use it. So you add this mastic at the end, but you don't add it the way it is. You have to crush it with a mortar. Here again, we go pounding, we add a little sugar, and we pound the pebbles until they become powdery. That's the only way they will dissolve in the pudding. Now, why do we add them? They add a wonderful flavor. Oh, I love it. Okay, so our milk is just heating up slowly but surely here. I see the steam coming out. Now, along with the mastic, we have 2 flavors we use. We use a tad of rose water and a little bit of orange blossom water. So, now if you want your pudding to be richer than just with plain milk, you could either add a little bit of cream, which is what I've done today, or you could add something called puck, which is a cream spread that you find in all the Middle Eastern stores. You could also order online. And it comes from Denmark, I believe, and it's just very creamy tasting. Or you could add a couple of these little cheese spread things called kiri, which is similar to the Laughing Cow cheese. I think it's made by the same company. And you just melt it in here and it just adds more richness to the pudding. So here we go, the milk is steaming. We're going to add our cornstarch that has been diluted in the cream at this point. And it'll thicken in about 2 minutes. See how easy it is? And this pudding can be interpreted in many different ways. You could make it with chocolate, with Turkish coffee. You could make it with cherry flavor, apricot, orange, anything. Just the basic principle is the same. You thicken with the cornstarch, your liquid, and you make a syrup or you add some sugar, and that's it. I'm going to add the biscuit now because it's at the end. And add a little bit of about a teaspoon of orange blossom and a teaspoon of rose water. Okay. So at this point, you simply take it through a sieve to make sure there's no lumps there. We got lucky, we had no lumps today. Very smooth. You pour it into your containers. Let it cool at room temp. And you can garnish it. Now, some people like to add shredded coconut at the top. I personally like to add some pistachios. So you just sprinkle your pistachios. And that's it. You could have that with a little syrup. Now the syrup, the recipe for all of this is explained in detail on my website, tasteofbeirut.com. The syrup is a simple sugar syrup flavored with rose water and orange blossom water. It takes about 10 minutes to make. You boil sugar and water and you add the flavoring at the end. So when you're serving your pudding, you serve the syrup on the side and people will simply pour a little bit to their taste. And that's it. I hope you'll join me at tasteofbeirut.com for hundreds more recipes just like this.